Come, let us savor tantric chanting and effortless meditation. Let us begin with a bit of energy work, known as calling the Lama from afar. It serves only one purpose, and that's to coalesce or real or imagined energy overhead. The easiest way to do that is to recite the 6 syllables, Lama come to pay crown, snapping your fingers over your head like an ill-mannered student. Together. Lama come to pay crown. Lama come to pay crown. Lama come to pay crown. We come to our first of 4 sets of mindfulness and meditation. Do remember the easiest way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the verb watch each time we feel our chest swell with inhalation, and to silently and mentally recite the verb rest each time we feel our chest sink as we exhale. It is also helpful to rest the great knuckle at the base of your right index finger upon the tip of your left index finger, palms up in your lap. Fabulous. Let's carry on. We turn our attention now to our first of two sets of leaping over exercises. The first 4 exercises of leaping over are going to pole vault over pride. This is another way of saying we're going to practice the view of reality that supports letting go, the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. So if you wish to chant along with me, join me on the tube app. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Therefore, let us sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. Having completed the introduction, we now bring our experience of the circumstantial into the path of letting go. All circumstances or lots appearing yet void could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. Let us now silently and mentally recite a 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. All lots melt into form. We're now going to blend the idea of the 6-syllable synopsis with, actually, I got ahead of myself, so sorry. We're now going to pull our experience of the physical into the path of letting go. All bodies or forms sensual yet void could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. And here's the 6-syllable synopsis. All forms melt into speech. So, all forms melt, we recite during our inhalations. Into speech, we recite during our exhalation. Now let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of letting go. All interpersonal communication or speech resounding yet void could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. As we inhale, let us silently and mentally recite, all speech melts. As we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite, into mind. By the way, this is much easier when you join me on the Tube app. We conclude this set of exercises by bringing our experience of the mental into the path of letting go. And as an extra added bonus, we're going to spell out what is meant by emptiness or voidness. All lucid perceiving, emotive, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds. Lucid yet void could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. All minds melt into void. We come now to our second act, or exercise of slicing through the obscurations to our Buddha nature. For the next 64 inhalations, let's silently and mentally recite the verb watch as we feel air enter our nostrils. And for the next 64 exhalations, let's silently and mentally recite the verb recite the verb rest as we feel air exit our nostrils. And of course, the essential instructions are located right here. We come to our this evening's second and final set of energy work. This time we are gently and effortlessly inviting our subtle energies to coalesce at our chest. The quickest and easiest way to do that is to chant the following 6 words. Lama, blend with this mind. 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 We now come to our third set of watching mind's antics as we breathe in and resting into mind's non-graspable nature as we exhale. We're going to shift gears now. And let's rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. As we feel our lungs swell with breath, silently and mentally recite the verb watch. As we feel our chest sink with exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the verb rest. Over the next 12 exercises, we're going to metaphorically leap over our tendencies or the tyranny of jealousy in our life. That does not mean we will stop feeling it. It simply means it will control our choices, utterances, and deeds less and less and less. This is also known as mantra meditation. So let's chant an explanation of this 10-syllable mantra. This is of course going to be infinitely easier for you if you join me on the Tube app. Umamacha Tara, the swift and courageous, with Tutara you drive away all fears. Heroine with Tude fulfilling all aims with Soha may all be as beneficial as you. Whether Tara is real or merely archetypical, many people still find benefit in using her mantra as a sort of a carrier wave for contemplation. Our first set of 3 exercises, or I should say during this, our first set of 3 exercises, we're going to pull our experience of the mental into the path of loving kindness, the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. We'll start with a chant. May all minds of all beings now be as joyfully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha, symbolized by a bija winsutable seed mantra tamotically drop. Our second exercise is to silently and mentally recite a 6-syllable synopsis of what I just chanted. Bija wise as we inhale, for all minds as we exhale. This is not something to believe. This is not something to visualize. We're just letting these words guide or gently exercise the neural pathways responsible for empathy. Now for our third exercise. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the loving wish, bija wise, for all minds, lucid yet void. And as we exhale, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa. If this is your first rodeo, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa. Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa, Om Tare Du Tare Du Re Suwa. Om tari du dari du ri so wa. 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 Om tare du dare du re 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 so wa. Now let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love, the third fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all relationships, communication, or speech of all beings know me as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech or communication symbolized by this horizontal ten-syllable mantra. To practice the six-syllable synopsis of that which I just chanted, during our inhalation, silently and mentally, we could recite mantra love. And during our exhalation, we can silently and mentally recite for all speech. As we inhale, silently and mentally, we could recite mantra love for all speech, resounding yet void. As we exhale, we could physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om tare du dare du re so wa. 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 Om tare du dare Tare Dure Sowa. Om 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 Tare Dure Sowa. Let us pull our experience of the physical into the path of love, the fourth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddha's statuary of the blissful body of a Devi or Yadam, an archetype of enlightenment such as green Tara. We can now silently and mentally contemplate a six-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our inhalation, silently and mentally we could recite Yidam Health, and during our exhalation we could silently and mentally recite For All Forms. Oopsie, that's weird. Let's hit this here. Oopsie, I say hi. So, it is not our job to believe, nor is it our job to visualize. All we need to do is silently and mentally recite these words as an exercise for the neural pathways of our capacity to practice empathy. And now we come to mantra meditation. As we breathe in, silently and mentally, we could recite all 6 syllables, Yidam Health, For All Forms. It's just a wish, using metaphoric language. And during our exhalation, silently and mentally, let's try this again. And during our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tare Dure Sowa. 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 Those those whose worldview is rigid have confused a lot of people about the idea of no self or selflessness. And they confuse it with the temporary psychedelic experience of ego death. The Buddha did not mean selflessness literally. He meant it figuratively. And here's how it works. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sense of self might have cartwheeled across the stage of our mind during our previous inhalation could feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining, at least fleetingly. That's it. When we breathe, when we relax into our exhalation, we experience that fleetingly. And as we breathe back in, we notice stuff all over again. Noticing stuff is not a failure. It's the seventh fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path and the first enlightenment factor. If anybody tells you that to notice your sense of self is a spiritual failing, then, as Bugs Bunny said to Daffy Duck, they have taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Let's continue. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. Om da de do da de do de so wa. It has been said that when imperialism comes home, it's fascism. Well, both imperialism and fascism are fond of victim blaming. The root behind both imperialism and fascism is a worldview defined by being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. All of us are born with a capacity for those tendencies. They're part of our survival instincts. Most of us have opportunities as we grow up to learn other things, to access other neural pathways that help us to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. And so we see there's two paths, one that is optimized for survival and one that's optimized for a meaningful life. Those who are stuck in survival are all about fear and greed. And so these guys are all about karma, our causality. But when we take a careful look at the Buddha's Eightfold Path, We don't see a single mention of karma or causality or victim blaming. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path does not pertain to fear, it pertains to love. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, kindness of commerce. And so we see all four bases of mindfulness marinated in the fondue pot of kindness. There are a bunch of big old knuckleheads stomping and snorting and insisting that if someone has truly mastered emptiness and is therefore enlightened, they can never experience misfortune. And yet, the Buddha was assassinated. So, yeah, back to the drawing board, guys. Into each life, some rain must fall. And what is done to us, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, do not define us. They are not an indictment. Yes, sometimes they suck. But they do not they do not define us. They are not an indictment. But how does emptiness come into play? Simple. Emptiness is a metaphor. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever annoyances we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel as non-graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Our breath is like the pendulum of a grandfather clock. It swings one way and we inhale, it swings the other way and we exhale. It swings one way and we connect with our sympathetic nervous system. It swings the other way and we connect with our parasympathetic nervous system. It swings one way and we notice, and it swings another way and we relax. Everything's in motion, including our breath, including our mind. That is not an indictment. It's simply the way things are. By cooperating passively with our autonomic nervous system, at last we can become the people that our dogs already think we are. We come to this evening's final contemplation, or set of three contemplations, where we bring the circumstantial into the path of love. I'm going to begin by chanting, and if you want to join me, it'll be easiest for you to join me on the Tube app. Here we go. May your circumstances, our lots of all beings know, have the safety, good fortune, or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vati. Now we're going to play with the 6-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. During our inhalation, let's silently and mentally recite Vati boon. Vati being a metaphor of good fortune. During our exhalation, let's silently and mentally recite for all loves. We now come to the third exercise. As we inhale, silently and mentally, we can recite the 6-syllable synopsis in its entirety. As we exhale, we can physically relax as best we can. while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tare Nare Nure Suwa, 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 Om Tare Nare Nure Suwa. Om Tare Nare Nure Suwa, 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 Om Tare Nare Nure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa. Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa, 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 Om Dare Dare Nure Suwa. We now come to this evening's final practice of, whoopsie. We now come to this evening's final practice of mindfulness and meditation, the 7 and 8 folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. As we feel our air enter our nostrils, silently and mentally we can recite the verb watch. As we feel air exit our nostrils, silently and mentally we could recite the verb rest. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever. Hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of all others be fueled by following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. Metaphorically known as the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Having sat for the better part of an hour, we might find it refreshing to conversationally recite the 8-syllable synopsis of what we just chanted, "May we free all through thee, three jewels," while performing what I like to describe as spooky squat thrusts. Oof. Here we go. All right. Oof. Okay, here we go. Whew. The sequence is simple. Whoopsie. Half squat. May we. Sorry, that's a heel squat. Full heel squat. Free all. Weight on the balls of the feet. All the way down. Through the three jewels. And then again, may we free all through the three jewels. Final set. Final repetition. May we, oopsie, may we free all through the three jewels. Whew. Whew. Let us conclude our practice by chanting the wishes for the preservation of the Buddha's teachings. May each meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings. And practice master as well as teach him generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May each meditation teacher spontaneously receive. Generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And thus may many Dharma centers be successfully planted, nurtured, and flourish. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return. Lead tomorrow's dawn, tantric chanting, as well as effortless meditation. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.